How many of you have typed out a message to someone and deleted it? Someone you admire, someone you wanted to work with, someone who could change everything. You wrote it, read it back, and then you thought, maybe not now, maybe when I'm ready. That moment, that's what I want to talk about today. The moments where things get hard and we step back instead of stepping forward. I call it the filter. The filter that separates the people who do from the people who almost did. And today, I want to tell you my story. I was sitting at my desk, laptop open, phone to my ear, proud. I had spent months building my first app, a social media platform I thought would overtake Facebook. And I was ready to show it to someone who really mattered, an advisor, someone who had built real companies. I walked him through every feature, every screen, and every decision I had made. Then there was silence. Then he said, Leo, this is a school project and not an actual business. I didn't say anything. I just sat there, phone still against my ear, staring at the same screen I had been so proud of 5 minutes earlier. And he was right. The only people using my app were my friends. And they weren't using it because it was any good. They were using it because they felt bad for me. Pity downloads, no strangers, no real feedback. No one I didn't already know. And here's what nobody tells you about failure. It's not dramatic. There's no big explosion. There's no big moment where everything falls apart at once. It's quiet. For 1 month, I didn't do anything. I just sat there. I didn't move forward. I didn't quit. I just sat there frozen. That's the filter, and that's where most people live. One night in May, I was sitting at the same desk, same laptop. Everything felt heavy. I started watching videos of founders who had it worse than me. One guy had to fire half of his company twice. Another guy had to go bankrupt 3 times before his company became worth billions. Another guy got rejected by every investor before one of them said yes. And I remember thinking, why can't I be like them? They didn't have some magic talent. They didn't have connections I didn't have. They just didn't leave. They stayed in the room when everyone else walked out. And here's the thing. Here's what nobody tells you about failure. It is not dramatic. It is really not dramatic. It's quiet. It's really quiet. So that month and that night, I looked at my app one more time. I really looked at it, and I had realized I've been trying to save something that cannot be saved. I was patching holes in a sinking ship. So I made a decision. I decided not to quit. I decided I had to rebuild it. Not fix it, rebuild it. And here's what I learned along the way. The first lesson. The hard part isn't the work. It's the moment right before the work. I needed a new team. The old one wasn't working. But reaching out to people terrified me. I remember having Instagram open, and I had drafted a message to someone I wanted to work with. Someone talented. Someone who I wasn't even sure would respond. I stared at that message for 20 minutes. Deleted it, rewrote it, deleted it again. Maybe I should wait until I have more figured out. Or maybe my chances would be higher if I had something to show for. Or maybe this isn't the right time. Every excuse in the playbook. Then I sent it anyway. And that message was the beginning of my team. 9 people today, people who believed in something before it was even proven. People who could have said no. People who almost never got the message because I was too scared to send it. Once I had the team, I had to actually build something. And I had no idea how. So here's the second lesson I learned. The power isn't in what you already know. The power is in you willing to learn something new. I decided to learn how to code. I knew nothing, absolutely nothing. The first few weeks, they were painful. Error messages I didn't understand. Tutorials that assumed I knew things which I didn't. I wanted to quit every single day. I didn't quit. Today, I can build things. Not because I'm gifted, but because I stayed in the room when it stopped being fun. So I learned to teach myself new skills. And I learned to start before I was ready. But then came the hardest choice of them all. At one point in your journey, you'll have to choose between what's right for you and what's expected from you. I had to choose between university and the company I was building. At that time, I was a mechanical engineering student at AUB. I had obligations, exams, grades, a degree I was supposed to finish on time. But the company needed everything I had. So I made a decision. The company comes first and school comes second. And what would you think the outcome is? Obviously, my grades dropped. People noticed. People asked questions. And at that time, I didn't know if it was the right decision. But here's what I actually learned. You will never know if it's the right decision. That's the whole point. If it were obvious, it wouldn't be hard. But here's the thing. All of the decisions that changed my life felt wrong in the moment. But you can only connect the dots looking backwards. But first, you have to place them. Place them blindly. That takes trust. Trust, not trust in the outcome, trust in yourself. Today, the company is 2 years old. And for the past 6 months, it's actually been working. Thousands of users, businesses using our services, communities I never imagined would trust something I've built. But don't be fooled. I still make mistakes every single week. I still don't have all of the answers. I still wake up some days with no idea what to do next. You may ask, what's the difference? The difference is I stopped expecting to know. And I started to trust myself to figure it out along the way. I don't know what you're going through right now. Maybe you're stuck. Maybe you're in that frozen phase I was in. Maybe there's a message you haven't sent, a conversation you've been avoiding, a question you haven't asked. I'm not going to stand here and tell you it gets easier. It doesn't. But here's the thing. It never gets easy. That's the whole point. I was sitting in your exact same seat 4 years ago, your seat. And I wish I can go back in time and sit next to myself and tell him what I'm about to tell you. Don't wait until you're ready. You will lose, for sure. People will not understand you. You will feel lonely. Your friends will think that you're crazy. Progress will slow down. But that's the whole point. Here's what nobody warns you. It gets hard. Really hard. But that's the whole point. You're on the hard path. That's where you have to be. Hard is the filter. Never forget that. Thank you.